Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday, and all of our guests today, including Landon Ferraro, standing by. Brought to you by Quinsam Communications Group. Visit their new Port Alberni store. Explore an array of two-way radios, cell boosters, and Donnie and Dolly merchandise. Quinsam, connecting people through technology. Florida Panthers, one win away from their first ever Stanley Cup title. They beat the Oilers last night 4-3. Here to talk about that and more. Former NHLer, son of Ray Ferraro, getting into the analyst business, Landon Ferraro. Landon, first time on our show. Thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Good. How's the broadcast business, the analyst business, treating you so far?
When you're kind of doing like one thing a week, it's been great. If I can find a way to make that schedule stay, yet make a full living, I'm set.
Yeah. Do you have more respect now for what your dad does for a living now that you've done it a bit?
I mean, like, yeah, a little bit, of course, but man, like the guy just talks forever anyway. So, I mean, he's got to get it out somewhere.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I don't want to listen to it at the house, so someone else has to.
Yeah. And he might as well make money at it while he's at it. Hey, Panthers over the Oilers, 4-3. Florida up 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Final. What are the Panthers doing so well to be in this position?
Just relentless, and the way that team's built, right? Like it's just one line after another, and even last night, the Oilers carry most of the play, on the offensive side of the puck, and yet in 6 minutes they give up 3 goals off of quick turnovers and chances against, right? So where the Oilers have always been so dangerous with their big players, in McDavid and Draisaitl, really taking advantage of opportunities, and those aren't really happening right now, and it's happening against them. Like it's almost a little bit of a flip on them.
Hey, Landon, he's not flashy, but man, he has so much respect around the league, and we saw what he was up to last night, a big goal and an assist. What makes Alexander Barkov so effective?
Well, I mean, he can skate at the size that he is I would think the number one thing. And then, then you add in the smarts on top of it. I was saying it yesterday, if he's in almost any other big market in the league, like if you drop him into Toronto, like he's going to be thought about completely different. Like his name's going to mean something different in the NHL, but he is where he is and he gets to fly under the radar a bit. But he's now showing, at the biggest stage why he's thought about like that from his peers.
Hey, Landon, are you surprised the Oilers' top guns are quiet? I mean, all their guys, they're superstars. No one's got a goal after 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not where you thought this was going to be going. Like, I didn't think the Oilers' depth was where it needs to be, but through the playoffs so far, they've come up and shown when they need to. And last night, if you say those 3 guys are going to score, you're probably thinking the Oilers are getting the win out of it. But it goes back to the big guys, and they're going to hit a wall eventually. And the fact that it's happening in the Stanley Cup Finals is not the best timing, but when you rely so heavily on 2 guys to make your offense, it doesn't really matter what the rest of the team does. And that's been such a talking point of this team is deeper than we're talking, or they've been given credit for. Yet when it comes down to it in these games when they matter, the depth's there, but now the big guys aren't. Like they can't put it together. And you need that in a championship winning team. Again, flipping it to the other side, Florida, whenever they've needed, like they've gotten other players to step up. Rodriguez has had a great final so far. Tarasenko is starting to make moves and play, like he did at certain points in St. Louis. Like it's a team that's just, it's just meant to be at the moment.
Hey, Landon, first goal, Bouchard giveaway. Second goal, Stuart Skinner miscue. Third goal, Nurse turnover. Puck management wasn't great for the Oilers last night, and the Panthers made them pay.
Yeah, and I think that's the part where when you're playing such a dangerous team where they clearly can take advantage off of turnovers and mistakes. and you know that you're struggling and you're behind in the series, like you can't afford to make one little mistake. So, on some of those, the Skinner one, like that's just a miscommunication. And before you know it, he can't get back in, and it's just another goal gone. And it doesn't matter that you've been carrying the play. If anything, it's almost worse. When you're playing your best and your team's playing great, and somehow you're still down a goal, or you give up one little break and they score again, like it just beats you down internally. Like you have to find a way to, like we are doing the right things, but we're not getting the result. Those are things you tell yourself in the regular season. And even though it might be true, especially in game one and parts of last night, it doesn't matter at this time of year. It's only about result.
Talking with Landon Ferraro. Landon, I know you've followed the Canucks, and I know their roster hasn't been established for next season. But can you envision the Canucks building successfully on the successful season they just had?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough anywhere, right? It's a salary cap world, and you're trying to make all these pieces work. And you have a bunch of players that came in, whether they were, brought in or have, grown up in the system and, taken steps this past year. And that's great. But at the same time, you want to bring a Joshua back. You want to bring a Lindholm. Like you want to bring all these guys back, and they are very good players, but you still need to improve. Like they made big steps, but they lost in the second round. You want to make sure that you're improving. It's going to be tough with some of the constraints because, pretty much everyone that had their best years, up for a contract, and that's, it's just not good timing. But, it's just about trying to find who means the most right now and what's coming up in the system. Can we have someone that can be a placeholder, sign them to a lower level deal for a year or two just to hold while one of the younger guys is really coming into his own? That's all decisions that, the organization's going to have to make. But this is the time of year that, this is all about your scouting staff. And that's not just the draft, that's your pro scouts as well, right? They're all having their meetings. They need their plan A, their plan B, their plan C. And they've worked through all these things already, but it's a tricky situation for sure.
Elias Pettersson, knee issues. Can you see him turning things around? I mean, 89 points last year, but a tough end to the season.
Yeah, I think he's going to be all right. He's going to have to show it when it comes playoff time. Just, until you prove that that's not going to be an issue, you're going to keep hearing about it, just like the big guys in Toronto have been hearing about it for years. But, for him, it's not just the knee issue. It was the contract. It was everything. This year was heavy on him, and not to give him an out by any means. You've gotten given a massive deal that you deserve, but you got to keep earning it every day. And just watching his demeanor through the second, the ending of the season, and then just his press conference at the end. I felt like the press conference at the end, he had that feeling of, I know that wasn't good enough and I'm not happy with it. I know I need to take a couple weeks off and just completely turn my brain off of hockey because this year it had to beat him down. There's so much going on, so much noise around him, right? So, I think it's going to be all right. I think he's going to get that, taken care of, get it, sorted out. But I think he's going to have a big summer and a big start to the season.
I worked with your dad for years, and we've had him on the show quite a bit. You're way better than him. Just so you know, you can tell.
100%.
Okay?
100%.
Not even close.
Well, I mean, I like to think so, but again, it goes back to credit. Like I never got to speak as a kid because he was talking. I'm trying to fight back a little.
Yeah, it's all coming out now.
Oh yeah, big time.
Exactly.
Landon, thanks for this. We'll get you back on the show. Appreciate it.
All right, awesome guys. Have a good one.
You bet.